Welcome back to the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast. We are here at the Rail, our home. If you want to keep seeing us here, go to therailclub.net, check out a show, and see if there's anything you want to come out to and come out to. Have a good time. But we're at episode 151. We've made it over the 150 hump. This is the first one after that.
Yeah.
And I'm excited because we have a return guest, super talented guest. But today we have Zekeforever.
Hello.
What's going on? Absolutely. Thank you for coming back. Yeah.
No, I literally, the last time was so much fun, just like talking.
Yeah.
I'm a yapper, so I literally just said that, but I love talking, so yeah.
Anytime
really cool.
someone says that, I'm like, this is the perfect thing for you then. Like, do not apologize for being like, some people are like, I'm sorry, like I talk too much. I'm like, this is a podcast, right? Like that's what I want you to do. Like, no, it was super fun, like getting to talk to you last time, that was like the first time we were meeting and stuff like that. So it was kind of wild. But yeah, that's been what, like maybe like 2 years now? A year and a half?
2 years.
2 years, right?
Yeah,
okay, and that was when you had just released
Overstimulation. My oldest baby. Well, not my oldest baby. My older baby.
Yeah, that's the past. Coming across your style of music and like what you were bringing to that, and not only that, then witnessing it like your performance wise. I think we brought this up before, but I'm like, I didn't know like people were making stuff like this, like around me. So it was super sick. But yeah, and then getting to see you again at SPF, at Slut Punk Fest
that was so fun.
Super, yeah.
I love. First of all, thank you for, I guess, like also number one, always being super supportive. I love y'all. I think that y'all's content is really cool. I don't know if he's like a part of y'all's like team, but Hector does these mall videos, and like I know, does he not follow like
Hector?
So I followed him because I can't remember the whole Instagram handle.
Okay.
But he does these like really mall like abandoned mall videos on TikTok. And I followed him because y'all were following him at some point. So it's just like really cool to see like y'all's like community. Yeah. And like meeting like Slut Punk and everyone like because of kind of y'all. It's like really cool. So
yeah. That's I guess my favorite part of all of this is like bringing people together, you know what I mean? It's like, or making connections through like this community that we've built and keep building, because that's where we started. We were all like going to shows and stuff like that, and we met a lot of people, and that's literally all this turned into. Is like, we just like help those people out. But then like with what we do, like meeting even more people, like doing cool stuff is the enjoyment in this. You know what I mean? And then like with this, I'm like, oh cool, then I get to talk to them. Like that's badass. But yeah, like you. The reason like we're coming up here is that you're working on something like new. I don't know, like I don't know if I'm getting right to it, but well, I really do want to get right to it, because it is you let me listen to this project, and it is and you're still working on it. Like
it's done. It's done now. I like sent it to you, and then I was listening. I was like, I kind of want to remix it.
I did. That's what I saw. Like,
and I hate Untitled for that reason, because I didn't realize it sends out notifications. And I'm like, so I look crazy. But
what's going on, y'all? It's OC with the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast here at the Rail, our home. You heard me say that at the beginning of the podcast, but what does that really mean? It means that the Rail Club has offered their space, their location, their ambiance, everything to the podcast, so that I can host, the interviews and the podcast that talks, the conversations that you hear, especially this one, the one that you're listening to right now. So the best way that you can help me help them is just by checking out therailclub.net and seeing if there's any shows that you want to come out to, hang out with, or simply share a flyer. That helps them enough. But yeah, therailclub.net, go check it out, see if there's a show you want to come out to, and let's have a good time. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Let's keep going.
Yeah,
I was gonna talk to you because like I've never seen that like platform or where I guess it's like stuff you're working on or whatever, or it's just another platform to share. But yeah, I thought it was weird that it gave me a notification. It's like, Zekeforever did an edit to this.
Someone told me, and I was like, well, that is awkward. So like I would just keep changing it. I finally we have the mix is kind of done. I've kind of just like let it be. I'm just like, it's still coming out on September the 12th, which I'm really excited about. But I'm a perfectionist, and some things can't be perfect. So I had to kind of just like let go and be like, you know, this is not going to be 100%, but is it something that I'm proud of? And I'm really proud of this album, and it's like my newest baby. Newest baby.
Did you have that with like your previous projects? The same kind of attitude where like, I don't know when this is done?
Well, the same thing that happened this time around happened. So usually mixing is always really hard for me. Mm-hmm. And so with overstimulation, when I knew it was kind of time to finish is when I would finish a really good mix, and I'd be like, I'd save it, and it would the song would save, but the project would crash. So it's like, okay, this is the mix.
This is the one.
This is the one.
It doesn't want me to do this, though.
Yeah. So like that kind of happened again this time, and it was kind of like, okay, I've done enough. Like I've done as much as I can, and now it's just kind of like time to let go. And I've been working on it I've been working on Jericho, which the album is called Jericho. But I've been working on it for 2 years, so. And I don't think that it helped me get out of a mind, out of a headspace. Okay. And so I'm not there anymore. So it's also just kind of like okay, like this has helped me move out of that. And now I'm kind of, you know, like I'm glad that I get to share it, and I get to see this like cool body of work that helped me process a lot of things. And now I'm just like, I'm ready to release it and like let go of it and just like have a good time with it. So
interesting. Okay. Yeah. So like now that you're about to release it, you're kind of, you have processed, you have gone through all like the like you're not stuck in the heads, because I mean with Jericho, like first of all, like there's a meaning behind the title of the name, and it's a very vulnerable like, you know, album that you can tell kind of throughout, because I mean with Overstimulation I was like it's really good, but it's definitely, it was just like I'm just vibing this whole time, and then I'm like with Jericho I'm like feeling some shit. Like,
yay! I'm glad. That's like, thank you. Which is really funny, because when I first started this, like with Overstimulation, there's like kind of like a vulnerable song on that album that I think like that, like with Overstimulation was the first time that I realized like, oh, this isn't just like in my room, which like I'm not saying like I'm like huge or anything, which we hope we're manifesting, but like it was the first time that I realized that other people were like listening, because I had a community, and that scared me. So when I went into this, I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to make pop dance music, and like Brat had came out too, and so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna make like purely pop, but I couldn't. Like it was just like some things that were just like happening in life where it was like Jericho was a space where I could just try to figure out like my emotions and like process them a little bit more, and kind of just like sit with myself. And it was really cool, just like I think also I was pressuring myself to finish things like really fast, because like that's kind of how we are now, like in like content creation and being an artist. And so I was actively fighting taking my time and sitting with myself and writing, and like, because I was just like, I want to do this. And so Jericho is kind of like a testament of just like sitting still and like figuring out yourself. Overstimulation for me was like about connection, and this was like me being scared of connecting and also like trying to connect with myself so I can connect again.
Yeah, okay.
So we love therapy. It's like, what? But yeah, like that's what it is kind of for me.
Yeah, sitting with stuff is very difficult to do in just the mentality that it is like now with everything, with especially with the rise of like social media and how quick like stuff is. Like you are pressured to like, you need to put something out, create, because from like a business artist standpoint, it's like, oh, because like immediately like other people are releasing music every week, like, you know, so relevancy, like, so you need to be, because everyone's like strategy is like, oh, singles, but which singles. I get it, like, you know what I mean? there's oh man, I lean both ways sometimes, where I'm just like, you know what, okay, I get it, you know, like the singles make sense. Also, I have gotten, like, because when I used to be in a band, like, we would get in ruts where we're like, this needs to be perfect, and then, like, by the time we released it, we didn't like it anymore. So, like, so I know that balance, that tightrope, like, you kind of, like, have to walk it. But being able to, like, as an artist, like, being able to sit with something and write it until you get something that you actually like, you say the stuff that you actually want to say, that you took the time to actually think it through and be like, oh, like, this is worth waiting for, or this was like worth the work that we put into it. You know, there's just something to it, and especially doing an album, because how many tracks are on the album?
It's 13, technically 12, because there's like an interlude.
Yeah. Okay.
But 13.
13.
But I can't, like, I've noticed myself, and I just like have kind of just given into it because I've tried to do the single thing, and like somehow I always end up like, I'm gonna make an album out of this. But I've always even noticed, like, in music, I don't like listening to singles until the album comes out.
Oh.
Like I'll like Lady Gaga or like somebody like that. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to the singles. Yeah. But I feel like I connect more with music when it's like I understand what the full scheme of things are. I guess. Which is it's so interesting. Like singles are just so hard for me, which I guess like they shouldn't be, you know, but they are. Because then I'm just like, I automatically am like, oh, let's turn this into a collection now.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you figure out ways, I feel like you figure out ways like, oh, I know how to connect this with something else that I'm working on. Yeah. And then you, again, it's fascinating because to yourself who are making it, you're like, oh, all these go together in this way that I like design. Versus a single is like, it's supposed to be like a standalone thing, which when you're releasing singles off an album, it's like, it's not a standalone thing. It's part of a collective, but people will see it as a standalone thing first, and then when an album comes, like maybe that song doesn't flow the way you meant it to because they've already listened to it as something that should have been by itself. You know what I mean? So I do, and it has happened to me with artists. Like I bring up this example so many times, but there's a band called Sleep Token, and they released their debut album, but they released every song on the album as a single. It was weird. It basically every 2 weeks there was a song releasing, and it was weird. It was cool because you're like, oh my god, there's a new song. Yeah. But the way I describe it, when I listen to that album back, it sounds like a pack full of singles. It doesn't sound like a collective piece of work to me. I'm sure it should. I'm sure, but because of the way it was rolled out, you know, I don't see it that way anymore. You know, maybe someone who listens to it, just the album right now, who's never heard it before, they'll see it as an album. But to me, it's like a pack of singles. And it's really like hard to do that and create like something collective. And then I get like you have like there's a way you have to hype up your album, especially like depending on what level you are. Like you want people to listen to it. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch of industry crap that I have no idea about.
Yeah,
but
I've tried, man. I've watched the YouTube videos, and they're like, this is why you shouldn't release albums anymore. But I think like I guess like also for me, I just think that like when I look back at like just like the memories and like the things like overstimulation for me, like when I think about it, I think like how like even just doing that interview with you, it felt like nothing was impossible because things were kind of like picking up and like things were kind of going the way that I wanted to go, and I was starting to play shows, and so it was like, okay, cool. Like, and also like I think like I'm just like forever grateful for that era because I was able to express myself freely, and like not everyone can like do that, you know, comfortably. Yeah. And like people, like the community that I was in, especially like Denton and just like the music scene, like they like people are just gracious enough to give me that space, and so like albums are just like little time capsules. You know? And I don't know.
Like as an artist writing albums or just even collective like projects that tie into each other. Again, even like I'll even consider like EPs and stuff like that in it too. But like, yes, it shows what you were doing like here, like at this point in time, like this is what you sounded like, this is what you were feeling. Cool. When you go back and listen to that, you will see it as like, and not even only like lyrics or musically, but be like, oh, I was recording on this thing at the time, you know what I mean? That's why this sounds like the way it does. Like, oh, that's why I couldn't get this to sound this way because I only had this equipment or whatever. But it is a nice, like, it's basically, you get to go back in time and see how you were feeling, what you were creating, like what levels of your creativity was. But it's also why like you do need to put stuff out, like, because I do run into like some artists who I'm like, oh, I'm still working on something. Like I was like, you need to drop something. I go because you get stuck, you know what I mean? You get stuck and then you never, I think, manage like that progression. Like you would never, like if you never drop overstimulation, like you're never getting to Jericho, you know what I mean? Like so that's you you gotta, which again goes back to the question of like knowing when something's done. Yeah. It's not necessarily that you think it's complete, but you're like, I'm proud of this and I can put this out and be happy. You know what I mean? Because you're always gonna be able to improve it or change something to make it different.
Now you could just pull like I'm gonna take it down for a little bit, remix this, and then put it right back in. Like now it's easy like that too. So I've been thinking about that too. Just like, girl, if I hate this again, like really, I just take it down, put it back up.
That's true. That's very true. Okay, so I do want to start at the beginning of this album. So let's start with the name. The name is Jericho. Yes. What's the big meaning behind it?
So my parents are pastors. I feel like maybe I talked about this last time, but religion and like Christianity, unfortunately, well, I will say that I am not really a super religious person, but I am pretty spiritual, and that story always resonated with me. But I also think that like this album isn't necessarily about like the promised land or like getting to the promised land. It's just about like how did those walls get there, and like why were they there, and like how do we break those down, and like why, like I don't know. It was just like for me, I realized the past couple of years I kind of became a little bit more guarded up in my approach in life, and I think I did it in the name of like protecting myself because I thought that was right at the time, and kind of just like also I was like very jaded. Like I think like in the process, the first song on that album, which is really funny because it's the first song that I wrote and the last song that I finished.
Interesting. Okay.
That song is like a big ego trip because like I genuinely was like, well, I don't really need anyone anymore. Like if this is how that's gonna feel like having people around, I don't want it. And I don't think that I was looking at like the bigger picture. And so like in the beginning of that to like now just being like, oh, I do understand that, yes, like I do have to protect something, but I also don't have to be so guarded to where I'm just like not present in life. And so I guess like that's what Jericho is for me, is just like figuring out what is to be protected and what's not to be protected.
Okay.
And yeah.
Is there anything like particular that made you feel jaded, or like from people wanting to get away? Is there like a specific event or something?
I will just say it was just growing pains. I think like I won't say that I was like completely perfect because I was not. I was a pretty shitty person at some times in my life, and I think like also like there were some things that were really shitty that were happening to me too, that because I am a very sensitive person, and also I internalize everything, I just like kind of took it in. And like it was just easier for me to be like, well, fuck y'all, I'm not doing this anymore, instead of just being like, okay, what are these lessons and how can I like learn from it? And I like the reason why I think like I love this album so much, like because this album was really hard for me to like. I did collaborate a lot, but it was a little bit harder because it was so personal. And what was I about to say? Oh my God, I just had a whole point.
Album's personal,
but like
hard collaborating.
It was hard collaborating because I held it on so close, and like it was like, this is mine. Like not that it's mine, but it's just like, this is my heart.
Yeah.
So trying to like open those gates slowly, and then like also just realizing like, oh, this is like, I don't know, like making this album was also just like a huge lesson of just like, yes, you can protect it, but if you open up just a little bit, like the magic that you can make with just like a little bit of like discernment, I guess. And that's how it was. Like I was playing with like bands. Like I have a band now. Yeah. And they mixed with me a lot of the times, and they like mastered with me, and that was something that was a little bit different for me because I've always just made it in my room.
Everything was the last one was all you, right? Everything.
Yeah, well, for the most part, like I think like that was like entry level collaboration, and this was just like a bigger project. So for something to be so personal and yet have like so many people that were kind of like on board for the vision, it taught me, number one, that I still am a creative control freak, and number two, that like I guess it just taught me that like you always have to be open. You can't be closed off to like to everything, because that's kind of like you become your own enemy, I guess. And I feel like that's how in some ways, in a lot of ways actually, I was my own enemy, because I was just like, I don't need anyone. I can do this because I had he's balls up. And it's just like this whole thing. Yeah.
It is easy to get into that mode, especially being a creative, to where like I know how I want this to sound, and I'm the only one that can do it. Like that's the hard part. Like first part, sure, like I know what I want.
Yeah.
That's good. Like, but the other part is like I'm the only one that can do this. That's the part that sometimes hinders when it comes to collab, because like other people, and not like, again, you have to find the right people to collaborate with, the people that you trust, the people that honestly like understand what you're trying to create. That first part, you know what you want, you need people to understand what it is that you want. But it is, with collaborating, it is hard, but it's so easy to come up with more ideas, because it's a completely different person with different experiences, different knowledge, different like music influences that they've listened to, that they'll find a way to connect these two dots that you've been trying to like draw a line between for like forever. It's like, it's like you're being hard on yourself, or like, I will crack this, I'll figure out how to get this, these two things to make sense. And someone comes in and is like, oh, why don't you just like do this? And it's like, okay, yeah, it's exactly it. But I like how it goes hand in hand with like kind of like the lesson that you're talking about in this, trying to open yourself back up to the world, and then this being a even bigger collaborative like project. So it even like even the actual like production and creation of the album goes hand in hand with like the message of like of the actual album, like what you're trying to say.
Yeah, like I think what was really cool about the experience is also too like having like people around you that are nerds about the same thing that you're like nerd about, but in completely different ways.
Yeah.
Like just like even with anything that I've made beforehand, I didn't really understand mixing that well. I do like, I'm gonna throw like a little bit of delay and a little bit of like reverb on it, and like that for me was just like, oh, this is like polished, this is everything. And then getting around like musicians who are just like Max, Manuel, and Simon Ray, Nimi, Yauki, all of these people, Jonathan Moreau, they all helped with this album. And like they're like production nerds, they're like great, like all of their music, like check them out, like they're really good like production wise. And that was something that I wouldn't say that I'll say I lagged, but like it was really cool to kind of be like, number one, it was kind of hard too, because it's like you do have to have your ego in check a little bit when you're like, I don't really know what I'm doing anyway too. But like it was just, I don't know, it's just like cool to be able to open up. And then once you kind of like get into that notion of just like people teaching you new things, then it's like this whole different thing, like whole world popping up, like plugins and like all this thing. So it was just like, it was also like, for me, this album is fun too, because like a lot of this, like the sounds and stuff was just me just like fucking around, like me just like, oh, I got this M audio plugin that I've never used before, but it like makes my voice sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks, and I love it. So I'm just gonna do this forever. Like I don't know, the process is just really cool.
I think that's what I've heard that so many times from like artists and musicians, or even stuff like where I'll see like, how was this album made, like type stuff, where it's like, oh, I've had this thing and I was like, let me figure out how to use it, and I was like, had fun with it, so I'm like, oh, I'll stick it in here, you know what I mean? Like, and that's cool. Like that's part of the process that I find fascinating, that people just have fun with it, where it's not like sometimes I like to picture where not that I like, but I tend to picture where like, oh, the producer like knows everything and they know what they're gonna put here, and a lot of it's like experimenting, is just like, oh, I just got this, like, do you want to try using this in it? And then you'll probably end up like using like plugins to just like do weird sounds until like one of them is like, that one works, and like, okay, let's use that or do something. But it's what makes the process fun and experimental, and like what makes it interesting for listeners who are listening to it and being like, why is how do they figure to put this in there, and where this idea come from? And it's all just most of the time it's like, oh, I was playing around with something and figured it out.
I love making music is so fun. Like I think like I will say that I've been telling a lot of people this lately, like I'm very thankful that I have something that like got me out of like such a weird phase that was just like so playful, and like something that like I don't know where I would be if it wasn't like for music. Like I don't think I could do anything like anything else. Like I've tried, and like I think also just like with this album, like because you're so doubtful, some like I will say this also was like kind of like a really doubtful weird part of my life, and so it was just like making this music and just being like, oh shit, that is the flow state again, and like I'm back at it, and also like with these cool people doing it too, and I don't know, it was just like it kind of brought me back to who I was like beforehand. I don't know, it's like this album was like a weird experience for me.
Maybe kind of even just solidifying like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Which yes,
yeah, there's these. It's a big validating moment when you have those. And there's several ways, like you get people telling you that they really like something, or you get like your moments where you listen to something and I'm like, yeah, like I made this. Like, you know, this came out because you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and it's like, oh yeah, like it's like, oh, I know it's weird, but as someone who is very like I doubt so many fucking things. Every now and again I'll get one I'm like, oh yeah, like I fucking did this thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like I made this, or and it's super fun, it's super validating. But you're right in one thing, and then I always like picture it, but like art in general, but music specifically because it's the one I really have experience with. Being able to have something that you can turn any emotion into art, into something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if you're sad, if you're mad, if you're any range of emotion, you can create something out of it. Is such like a I don't know, like a power, like superpower or something, man. Because you no matter what you're going through, like you can make something out of that if you choose to. Like, you know, you can create something out of it, and you can create something that you can share, like, you know, that you can put out into the world. And even then, like one person coming to you and talking about one thing that you made, and it's like, damn, that's a lot, like, to you. You know what I mean? Like there's such a weight to that with artists. That's why, like, I try to encourage people, like, tell artists, like, if you get a chance, like, that their song meant something. I'm sure they're never gonna get tired of like hearing it. Like, that's why I like to think that's why like artists make stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's because they needed to put something out to get some sort of emotion out, and being able to see like, oh, somebody else like resonated with it, like it just creates that community, and it just makes that feedback loop keep going, like, oh, this is great, like I want to keep doing this. Yeah. But yeah, the album, like I said, feels very, very vulnerable. You still have some songs in there where I'm like, okay, this is like I was like, I could dance to this, well, and then there's some very vulnerable songs. I really, really, like, as I was listening to the album, the outro is the one that I don't know. It just felt like is it F4? F5. Yeah. So I don't know if maybe I just haven't experienced an outro in a while, but I loved feeling like the ending of something, like in the whole album that I just went through. Yeah. And it felt the rise and fall of that outro just felt very like I have been through something, like this whole album, like, and then we made it, you know what I mean? Like it felt so like good to listen to. But with the way you create like this, your track listing was, you know, how purposeful were you with like placing songs?
I was very purposeful. I love sequencing. Like, I'm a nerd. I'm an album nerd. So like that's how, in like the contrast between That's How and F5. I'm about to be super nerdy for like 3 seconds. F5 is 3 different meanings for me. Mm-hmm. F5 like an F5 tornado. Mm-hmm. F5 like, you know, the engine, and then also F5 like a computer reset. Because I think that like life is really chaotic. And even though like I was just like, that's how people like, you know, that's how we get fucked up when we like put our heart into things or like give our heart away. Towards like F5, and I think that was the last song that I wrote. Mm-hmm. And I made that with Nimi. And we had a really hard time with the outro, like because I knew F5 was gonna be the outro, but there was 2 different F5s. And essentially just like this album for me is just like, okay, it kind of gave me like the will to like want to love, or not even love, but just to try again. Mm-hmm. And like that was kind of the thing, is like, okay, this past 2 years have been like very chaotic, but you are strong, and like your heart is like the reason why you are here. Mm-hmm. You put your heart into it, and so it's just time to let all of that go. And that's like essentially like what F5 means. So that like that means a lot to me that you like enjoy that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I've listened to it twice all the way through, because I try to listen to it where I have a moment to listen to like all together. When we go back to talking about albums, like I love listening to the entire project together. So I'm happy that that's why like I waited like to listen to it, and then I'm like, all right, I can do this now. And I listened to all of it, and I'm like, and again, I was most of it like I was like okay, cool, like I'm last here listening to some of the new sounds and stuff like that you were adding. I'm like, this is cool, but for some reason F5 like got me to the point where I'm like, I think well, I don't even remember what I was doing, but I remember I stopped doing like stuff, and I realized like after like it was ending, and I'm just like, I haven't been doing anything for like the length of this song. Like I've just been sitting here being like, damn, like this feels like the whole experience of the album was like really great. But that was a nice way to wrap up, to feel like again like it to feel like we just went through something, and again to feel like a natural like wrap up, like this is the end of like this like project. It was
thank you.
So good.
That warms my heart up a lot.
No, it's super good, but like the whole album as a whole like is just really great. I wish like I had time to like dive into like all your lyrics and stuff like that for it. Like you said, there's a lot of stuff that made this album come about, right? So like that you're going to are any of these songs like specifically targeted to certain like events or
everything?
Or is it more like in a general sense?
I feel like it's so funny because Jericho, if you want to like be a nosy ass bitch, you can listen to Jericho.
Yeah.
I think like for me like a key like pivotal thing is like Say Something is like a really interesting song for me because it was like a really weird situation where I was like very passive. And I think it's one of my favorite songs because I was so like this was like when I was like heavily in my like I just don't know what I'm doing anymore type. And I remember I was working on that song at home or at work, and I came home and I just started, and it was just like dancing around the house with like Bluetooth earphones and just like recording what I wanted, and like it was just like such a fun experience. And like that song for me, it kind of plays both ways of just like, it's a flirty song, and like it's just about like say something good to me, but also like it's a song for me. Like you don't have to always be passive. And I think when you're super anxious, you're hyper fixated on everyone else and everyone else's emotions, but not everyone is built like that. And so if you don't say anything, like your needs and your wants are not wants or heard. And so that's what that song represents for me, is like all the times I've just been like anxious when I could have just like opened my mouth and just like stated how I felt. And I think like a pivotal point was when I actually did it like for the first time, and I was like building it up in my head, like I'm gonna do this, and I said whatever I kind of like made my point, and he was just like, okay, and I was just like, okay. Like it was just like maybe you just need to get out of your head a little bit and just say something. And like that is like a really important song to me. Distractions is about like vices and just like trying to ignore it, but like also like you're just literally avoiding the inevitable. And so that was fun. And I think those are like the key ones that I just like every day it's a different new favorite song of mine. So it's just like,
which is good.
But I think like The Loop is just like breaking cycles, but also I love that song. I guess I'm gonna shout out everybody right here.
Go for it.
I worked with Yaki Melu, who is an amazing, they helped me with like so much of Jericho in the beginning. Just me like talking, again, I'm a yapper, so like I was just kind of like, this is like the concept that I want to do, but I have no idea how I'm doing it. And I kept telling everyone, I want to make a dark disco album, which obviously this does not sound anything like a dark disco album. But in my head, I was just like, I want to make a dance record. And he was kind of there through like, he was just like, okay, let's like rein this in. Because I do have like this like crazy, weird, like, it's like all over the place. I am very much a F5. And so like Yauki played bass, Max Manuel, who is an amazing musician who helps me a lot with mixing, he did like the talk box. Simon Ray, who's my guitarist, he played guitar. Jonathan Moreau, who played guitar for me before too, he like helped mix and like mixed like a lot of the songs as well with us. And like I don't know, like this album is just like, I'm just like so proud of it. And like it just reminds me that like I I ain't got nothing else better to do with my life than make music for the rest of my life.
Yeah. No, the talk box parts were really, really cool, and I was like, oh, that's a new thing. Like, but yeah, going back to the say something. I when you were talking about hyping yourself up the first time you did it, it's so crazy how simple that is, and it's very infuriating that I never thought it was that simple. Like, it's not this simple. I can just say what I need and it'll be like, it's gonna be okay. Like, someone's gonna meet that need or understand it at least or whatever. But I was always like, no, like, they should be able to guess this or whatever. Like, any person like feels this way, you know what I mean? And thinking everybody thinks the way you do. But I've experienced that so much, like with I guess like my partner, my fiance now, but that was so weird to me. But early on, I'm like, okay, like I like try to hold some stuff in, because I go very nonverbal whenever like something's upset. I'm just I'm just not gonna say anything. I'm just here. And they're not even these huge things. Like, it's just like, oh, okay. And then the first time too, I felt the same way. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna say something, and then I was like, yeah, like, I'm just not comfortable with this. And she's like, okay, cool, like, good. And I'm like,
it was that simple.
Yeah,
and it was
simple.
Just like,
and I'm just like,
okay, like, I've been like doing this for a day, like going back and forth. There's a line in there. It's like I like the way that so now you don't bring me, like, so now you don't have deja vu. And it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, so now if I say something and that need or that want isn't met, I don't necessarily have all of the excuses in the world for me to like continue to be around either. So it's like, I feel like I'm just learning that now, and now I am trying to figure out a medium, because now I'm like trying to put it in practice, but I'm not really that great at it. So I'll just be like, and like, and it's like, okay, well, you're doing a lot, and I'm like, yeah. So I love that is what that song represents for me, because that is such a huge thing, and I think has been like, I'm so interesting. I'm 28 years old. That has been a problem my whole life. And for something to finally just switch in like 3 seconds, where you're just like, oh, okay. Like,
I don't know like what brings it on, and I didn't know until, damn, I don't know how old I was, but like, it started with little shit when I started to, but I never in a relationship, like, I had ever like tried to speak up about stuff. But even like in friend stuff, like, I always felt like I have to do all these things. Like, I have to go to these places because like, oh, like, I can't say, you know what, I don't want to do that, or anything like that, or like, oh, I want to leave, or I don't want to be here, or this and that. Like, and then I remember just starting being like, you know what, I don't want to do that. I don't have to. And then it like felt invigorating. I'm like, oh shit, I can just like,
that shit is powerful.
And then like, when I learned like the power of like, oh, I can just say no to shit like all the time. Like, I can just be like, no, I don't want to do that. That was like crazy. But then being honest again with the person that like you want to be together with, is like that was like more intense to me, because I had never done that. And that's what, like, if you really break it down to, that's like why all my other relationships never worked, because I was just like, oh, like, they should know what I want.
And that's how it was.
It's just, and you think everyone thinks the way you do, and not necessarily in a malicious way, but they sometimes don't know like what you're feeling, and like at all times, like, they don't know exactly what you're feeling. Like, they might get better at knowing, like, oh, I kind of know you're upset here, or this and that. I mean, like, but just being more vocal about it has made a world of a difference. It's like, oh, like, and then leaving that space open for them to be like, okay, like, I can tell you like what's wrong with like stuff, cool, like, and then be receptive. I'm like, oh shit, this is how functional like communication works. This is what you're supposed to do. Like,
which is like, is annoying. I'm not good, like, and I'm learning. I'm trying. Thank God for therapy. We love it. But I've never been good at therapy, and I think that my excuse was like, well, I don't. Or what did I just say? I've never been good at therapy. I've never been good at communicating. And my excuse kind of was like, oh, well, I communicate through my music, which, like, whatever, girl. But also, like, this year and the past, like, couple of years, like, when I tell you just, like, learning lessons, like, that was a big one. Just, like, and I'm not perfect. Like, I'm not great. Like, I'm still not 100%. But, like, just, like, taking that in and just being, like, that also makes room for, like, everything else in your brain.
Yeah.
Like, all of those thoughts that you're just like, why is this, like, why are you not thinking the way that I'm thinking? That is like going in your head the whole time. You don't have that anymore. So now you are able to be present. And that was just like such a huge thing for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy when you think about how much of it is taking up space in your brain, where you're just thinking of like, why don't you like, I would have done this. It's like, okay, well, like, they're different, and then it just comes out they're a different person. Like, whoever you're talking to is completely it's not you. Like, they're not gonna see things the way that you do, or whatever, you know. And when the easiest fix is like, oh, like, this is actually why I do this, or why I think of this. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, I can see that now. It's like, there's a different perspective. Like, it's a super simple concept to talk about, but like to put it in practice is where like you're in your head and like, no, it's not gonna work. Like, whatever. Like, they're gonna think I'm too needy about something, or I'm weird about this, or blah blah, or I, you know, high maintenance about something, or like, again, every which way of thought you can spend it.
It's okay to be high maintenance.
Yeah.
Some people like Mercedes.
It's true.
Someone told me that, and I don't know why. It kind of ate me up, because I was like, I don't want to be high maintenance. Like, some people like Mercedes. You're just like, damn. Well,
you're right.
I guess.
Yeah. It is very like, again, simple things like that. Like, people are different. You know what I mean? Like, just because, like, I don't know, you place value in something that they don't think is as valuable as whatever. Like, doesn't mean either person is wrong. It's like, it's just either person like values stuff different. You know what I mean? Or stuff is more, again, we talk about music. Like, someone who doesn't do music is probably not going to hold the same value that you do in that. You know what I mean? And that's fucking fine. You know what I mean? That's perfectly fine, because they have a different value system. You know what I mean? With what's important to them. You know, with you, you'd be like, well, music's done all this for me. You know what I mean? So that's why I hold it. So it's like someone like who, again, doesn't have that outlet to have somebody else, like, it might not be like that. You know what I mean? And that, again, that's fine. You know, not
and also,
one.
If we all were the same, the world would that'd
be boring. I'll tell you that much. So boring. Yeah, it'd be super boring. Like, and I do think of that quite a bit. Like, where I'm like, oh, okay, they can't be like me, because then, like, I'd be bored of myself. You know what I mean? Like, but it's cool. And again, I love how vulnerable the album is. To that degree, and expressing that, and then helping you get through some of those emotions. There are like some like sound bites and stuff like that in there, like clips of stuff.
Yeah. So I've been saying that Jericho is a sonic collage, because a lot of these things were just like me in like my rabbit hole era. So like, I mean, it really was. So like, when I was like in my deepest depression, a lot of things that I did was like watch these like long YouTube streams, or like body cam videos, or like all these things. So like, I might get sued for this later. Who knows? I hope not. But like, there's like a couple of like samples or like references, and then also just like the sound bites. Like, the interlude is like some podcast that I was listening to like in the middle of like my breakdown, and I just remember thinking like, this is exactly what I needed to hear. And like, the podcast only had like 13 views on it, and I was just like, you know, that's like interesting. And so I emailed them and was just like, hey, like, can I like use this for like a project that I'm using? Like, and they were just like really cool about it. But like, I think it also, I wanted to make a universe where it was just like, these are all the things that I was like listening to and surrounding myself with, and just like, I didn't want it to just be like a playlist. I wanted it to be like, okay, like, these are the people that were around. So there's like hella musicians that are on here, like Brother Saturn, who is like a super cool, and Heaven Above, who like, I feel like we're in the community that like I was becoming a part of too. And like, again, Yauki and like all of my friends were helping with like instrumentation. There's like people that I look up to who that like were like making like, or just like talking in general, and just like kind of like speaking words of wisdom, and like things that I kind of like held really close to me. And so like, I feel like this is just like a collage of like the lessons that I've learned over the past 2 years. And so
Yeah, I did like those, because they flowed in and out of like the music like very naturally. So it felt all, again, like, which goes to helping it all feel like a story, like together. You know, it did link everything up pretty. But I was just wondering, like, who's talking? Like,
like even like at Run is like a callback to That's How. Honestly, this album gave me the space to be like a nerd. Like, That's How is just like, essentially, like, I keep saying, like, that's how niggas get locked up, which is like such a funny line to me. And
that's not the first song, right?
Yes, it is. I thought it was so funny because I freestyled that and was just like, what the fuck? But then I was like, I'm gonna keep this. And like, that is actually like a body cam video at the end of Run. And it's just like, sometimes you're so focused on the love that you don't have. Also, I'll nerd out for a second because my favorite artist is B Slade. He's made an album every year that I've been born. Well, for the most part, until like maybe like 5 years. But I listened to him like as a child and then growing up. And first of all, he liked one of my videos the other day, which was like kind of like crazy because I was finishing up mixing.
Yeah.
So that was also another sign. Like, I was just like, okay, great.
All right, this is the one.
But he has a song called My September Issue, and I won't say the quote exactly because I'll fuck it up. But essentially, like, the people that you love, or the people that genuinely love you and the people that genuinely care for you, watch you while you are literally begging in the street, asking for other people to love you and to give you that validation.
Yeah.
And so it kind of like ties into like Run, where it's just like, this is something that I really want, but obviously it's not good for me. And like, that video, I just remember being like, this girl is about to lose everything in her life because she like, and not saying that love is like wrong, I don't think that it is, but I think that like he wasn't doing her right either.
Yeah.
So it was just like one of those things where it's just like all these lessons that I was kind of like learning and like feeling and just being like, you know, like sometimes you don't want to necessarily lose yourself in hopes of outer validation. Yeah. And like, my therapist taught me this word, it's called individuation. And like, I think that that's what this album kind of taught me. It was like, I'm not 100% there. I don't know when I'll be 100% there, but it's about like the journey of getting there. And like, I am like hoping that one day I can just be like a wholly and complete, like full with myself. And I mean, like, I'm getting a little bit closer every day, but like, this was just like another like way to help me process that and get closer to that.
Yeah. Damn, that quote is real. Like,
yeah, that's what 999 is about.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a rough one to go through. When you have that realization though, that's like, damn, I am like, because in moments where you are, again, like trying to beg for somebody else or something else, like to show you the love that you want it to, it's so easy to ignore everybody who actually does like love you and the people that you have around, because you're like, oh, well, nobody does this for me. And we're like, you have people that do it for you all the time. It's just not what you want. It's at the time that you want and like are demanding it. But yeah, that's the part that would always like fuck me up when I really would think about it. I'm like, dude, I do ignore like everybody who is actually like, who actually does give a shit about me, who actually has been there like the entire time, has never left, even with me going through whatever it is I'm going through. Like, they've still like stuck around, and I like, why is it so easy to ignore that, like in this case? And it takes a lot of like just appreciation. It's like, okay, you just gotta appreciate
more as a society for no reason.
Yeah,
that's also like a huge issue, I think, at least with like me. And like, what I realized is like, I do have to kind of like step into that appreciation and like gratefulness, because when you kind of get caught up into, and I think also this kind of has to do with like hustle culture too. Like, we do kind of accept the things that we have, but like, we're like, okay, cool. Okay, what's the next step? Because that's kind of like how things are progressed. And like, again, it kind of goes back into like settling in and just like sitting with like the things that you have and the things that you love and like the things that you're grateful for. And like, also just like yourself, you know, and just like, I don't know, just like realizing like things could be a lot worse. Cause I'm saying like, oh, I went through a dark time and like, ooh, boo-hoo. And it was, but like, there are so many things that are happening right now that are like far worse than anything that I could have gone through. So like, it's just like kind of like being in the like enjoying the moment. That's what T.S. Madison said in the little spoken word thing. She says, enjoy the moment, like stop stressing and just kind of just be there and like be around the people that care and like kind of take inventory of that. And
it's we do tend to want like more and more, but it's not necessarily like a bad thing, but it's when like that's the only thing that makes you like feel like anything is worth it is like then the moments that you stand still or do this and like you can't do that. Like, you can't stand still and appreciate like what you have, like, because I do get like not wanting to just be stagnant, like, but taking the time to look around and be like, dude, I have a lot. You know what I mean? Like I have I have a lot, and it is like enough. You know what I mean? Like at any point that you're at, like just taking the time and just being appreciative of the stuff that you get to do. Like I said, like I mean, little moment, like again, like getting to create like music with all the people that actually did like choose to contribute, like or be part of the project with you and help you create like an album that you are happy with. You know what I mean? Like that's something you get to do. You know what I mean? Like it's not something that's guaranteed to you or offered to you. Like, hey, like I look what I've created. Like a group of these people who like want to actually like be part of the vision that I have. And it's great. That's what I love about like musicians and creating music is again like the community that you create and learn to appreciate like around you and what brings you up. But I think you've taken like great advantage of like the connections and stuff that you've made. Again, the album is incredible.
I'm so proud of everyone, and thank y'all for helping me. Like this album was like something that I had a concept of, but I think I was just like really jaded when I first started, and I was also a diva. Like I'm very much again a creative control freak, so again it was like really cool to just like create with like all of these people. Like I will shout them out again because I feel like I missed everyone.
Go for it, yeah.
But Yagi Melu, thank you so much. Max, Jomo, Jonathan Monroe, Nimi, oh my God, what Nimi, Simon Ray, Jacob, Zane, everyone that like helps just like play instruments and like help me mix or like give me an ear, just give me like fresh ears. Like I just really appreciate it because they also like just were around during that like weird growing pain era too. So like the fact that like they were there and still just like chose to like not give up and stuff, that's like really cool, and so I really appreciate it so much.
Okay. So the album dropped September 12th, which this might be out either right before or right after the album comes out. Okay, so album drops. What are your plans next?
Honestly, remixes. I'm so excited.
I knew it. I still think it's funny when we were talking about overstimulation, where I was like, "Who is this? Keeps popping up and remixing everything." It's like, "Oh, that's me."
I love remixes, and this time it was a little bit. This process was a little bit different, I guess. So I didn't get to make as many remixes but now I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna make remixes. And because I'm in a little bit more of a happier, like I'm back. Not, I won't say I'm back, but like I just, I've let go. And so remixes all the way. I want to start doing shows again. I have a beautiful band, and I want to like get back playing shows. But like as of right now, there's just gonna be like a lot of visuals and like a lot of cool things coming and remixes.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's gonna be really cool because again, you're in. We talked at the beginning how you are not in the same space of what like the subject matter of like the album is, but now you're in a different space. How it'll be really cool to see like how these songs get tackled like as a remix by someone who's not in that place anymore, but still like has already created that. So that'll be super fun. The live show's always been great. Like, so I'm excited to see this. Did you play some of these the last time you played?
We played Gimme Gimme or Gimme Squared. Gimme Squared. We played Gimme Gimme at Slut Punk Fest. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Being able to hear
actually, and Confessing My Love too, I think. Yes, I do. I kind of was intoxicated that night. So, yes, it was a great night.
Hey, it made a great show.
It was a great show.
But no, the live show is one that I've enjoyed like since seeing you, and I love seeing that you play with a full band because it's so cool. Like it's so cool to see like your music again portrayed with a full band behind you. So and then I'm excited to see what you're gonna do visually with it because I remember the first time I saw you, I think I was at Harvest House and seeing like the whole like I think you had a whole background and stuff like playing back. I'm like,
I love visuals.
Like
I'm such a nerd. I want to be Lady Gaga so bad.
You gotta nerd out though. You gotta. That's what makes cool shit. Like it's come to realize a lot more and more. What the fuck? Oh, okay, cool. I was like scared as shit. What's going on, Ethan? Ethan's here. Ethan owns this place. He loves
nice to meet
here. You. Yeah, like you can't be afraid to nerd out on shit. Like it's just what makes cool stuff. It's just literally like once you steer into that and aren't afraid to be fully yourself, you make some dope shit. And I think that's again, like, you are definitely someone that I think that's completely like evident. Not to say like, oh yeah, you're a really big fucking nerd, like, but
no, I really
but no, like,
am.
I love the attention, like, to details and shit behind. Even like right now where you're talking about, there's a ton of stuff that I like. Again, at first or second listen, like, I'm not like listening to, but it's so cool to see someone paying that much attention to like their art and their work and be like, oh, this is what I want to put in here, like, because there'll be like a few people that figure it out, or once they don't, that they'll love like that this is in there. And then for me, again, it's fucking fascinating and very, like, again, much just puts me in the perspective of like, damn, this, like, you really care about like the music that you put out.
I promise you, I have tried. I think like once I just start focusing on music, it's just like I'm really locked in. It's like, this is the one thing that I just know that like this is where I'm supposed to be. And I think like no matter what, like even if it's just like it's just me still in Dallas making music, like I feel like I would be content, because like doing things like this and just being able to like clear the what is this? Clear the chakras? Question mark?
Maybe.
I don't know. But just like to clear like the conscious, like I don't know, it's just like really cool. And again, I'm very blessed and thankful.
Yeah, it's a great way to again, like, being a musician is a great way to help you process through like these things that, again, like, are for some reason like you can't make sense of them any other way, you know, at the time. And again, being able to create something out of it is always been a beautiful thing, and I love that. But and thank you for sharing again that album early. I got to listen to it. Fuck y'all, but that's one of the perks. It's one of the perks of doing this. But yeah, it is coming September 12th. Jericho will be out. Anything else you want to leave?
That's it, girl. Please stream Jericho. Please buy it. There are physical copies because I'm a graphic designing bitch too. So like, if you like want to step into the world, there will be physical copies available. And like, again, we'll be doing shows. Hopefully, well, not even hopefully, just like into the Denton, Dallas area. And so if you want to book us, please book us. We'd love to do it. But thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for stopping by. And yeah, we'll be promoting the crap out of it when it comes out. So absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. This has been episode 151 with Zekeforever. We will see you next time.
I don't wanna be alone tonight.